The Kentucky Fried Chicken on Fowler Avenue near USF in Tampa was shut down last week due to insect activity in the kitchen.
They told you it was chicken, crispy, juicy, and freshly made just for you. But what if that golden bite from your favorite fast food chain wasn't chicken at all? What if the meal you've trusted for years was not 100% chicken, but something engineered to taste that way? What if the tender filet from Chick-fil-A that melts in your mouth owes its flavor not to quality, but to a chemical recipe designed to make you crave more? What if the healthy rotisserie chicken at Subway is padded with additives that keep it soft, moist, and shelf-stable for weeks? And what if the golden pieces from KFC and Popeyes arrive already injected with enhancement solutions, packed with phosphates, MSG, and sodium so high it could quietly push your blood pressure through the roof? It's not just one chain, it's an entire system, where what's called chicken can legally contain up to 20 or even 30% non-chicken ingredients. Where flavor is built in laboratories, textures are crafted by machines, and loyalty is designed by scientists who understand exactly how to trigger your brain's craving centers. Tonight, we're exposing how 8 of America's biggest brands, from Burger King and Jack in the Box to Checkers, Rallies, and McDonald's, turned a simple meal into one of the most deceptive products on the market. Because when chicken becomes a formula, not a food, the question isn't what you're eating, it's what you've been told to believe. This is the corporate backdoor, and what you're about to learn may change the way you look at fast food forever. Number 1. Popeyes. It starts with a smell, that unmistakable mix of spice, heat, and nostalgia that hits you the second you walk into a Popeyes. It feels comforting, familiar. But what if that aroma isn't coming from the chicken itself, but from a carefully engineered blend of lab-designed flavors meant to mask what's really inside? Behind the orange and red branding and Louisiana heritage marketing lies one of the most chemically enhanced poultry products in America. Every piece of Popeyes chicken, from the crunchy tenders to the spicy thighs, arrives at restaurants already injected with what the industry calls an enhancement solution. It sounds harmless, but in reality, it's a cocktail of water, sodium phosphates, modified starch, and synthetic flavor agents. By law, up to 15% of what Popeyes sells as chicken can be made up of these additives. That means nearly 1/6 of what you're paying premium prices for isn't actually poultry at all. Former employees have described the process in detail. Vacuum-sealed bags of pre-treated meat that need only to be battered and fried. Each piece looks and tastes identical whether it's made in New Orleans or New York, and that's no accident. The flavor consistency customers love is achieved through precise chemical engineering, not culinary craftsmanship. The results are profitable and addictive, but they come with a hidden cost. A single piece of Popeyes fried chicken can contain over 400 milligrams of sodium, much of it from those enhancement injections, not the famous spice mix. For seniors or anyone living with high blood pressure, kidney problems, or heart disease, that crispy comfort food could quietly become a health hazard. Even the golden coating tells a story most customers never hear. That perfect crunch comes from anti-caking agents, texture stabilizers, and artificial flavor enhancers, all designed to survive long fryer times and still deliver that signature snap. It's the illusion of homemade cooking created in a lab. Popeyes built its empire on the promise of Southern authenticity, but when you look closely at what's under the breading, it's not home cooking, it's food technology. A system engineered to make sure every bite tastes the same, no matter what had to be added or replaced to make it that way. Number 2. Subway. For decades, Subway has sold a dream: eat fresh. Clean counters, rows of vegetables, and the promise of control. You build it, you choose it, you eat healthy. But what if the fresh chicken breast on that sandwich isn't what you think it is? In 2017, independent Canadian researchers decided to find out. They ran DNA tests on chicken from several major chains, and the results for Subway were staggering. Their oven-roasted chicken and rotisserie chicken contained only about 50% real chicken DNA. The other half? A carefully balanced mix of soy protein, modified starch, flavor compounds, and water retention agents. Half meat, half filler. Yet it's still sold and priced as chicken. Subway quickly denied the findings, calling them inaccurate. But former employees and supply chain insiders tell a consistent story. The chicken doesn't arrive raw. It comes pre-cooked, pre-flavored, and vacuum-sealed from massive industrial plants. Before it ever reaches your sandwich, it's blended with soy isolates and binding agents that stretch the meat, preserve moisture, and extend shelf life far beyond what natural poultry could handle. That's how Subway maintains that seamless operation. No raw chicken, no waste, no guesswork. But it also means every healthy chicken sandwich is a product of food engineering, not freshness. Even worse, the sodium content is alarming. A single 6-inch chicken breast sub can contain over 800 milligrams of sodium, most of it from phosphates and injected flavor compounds, not seasoning. For health-conscious customers, seniors, or anyone managing blood pressure, that's a hidden danger, dressed up as a healthy choice. And then there's the texture. Former workers describe it as too soft, too smooth, almost spongy. That's not how real muscle meat feels. That uniform texture comes from industrial tumbling and chemical tenderizers designed to make every bite feel the same. So while the counter screams fresh and the posters promise healthy, the truth sits quietly behind the glass. The world's most famous healthy sandwich chain is serving one of the most altered meats in fast food. It's the illusion of nutrition, A product built to look clean, taste mild, and feel wholesome, while being anything but. Number 3. KFC. For generations, KFC has been more than just a restaurant. It's an icon. A piece of Americana, built on a smiling face and a secret recipe of 11 herbs and spices. The Colonel became a symbol of trust, Southern hospitality, and comfort food at its finest. But behind that familiar bucket and catchy jingle lies a transformation the Colonel himself might not recognize. Because today's KFC chicken isn't the same bird that built the empire. It has quietly evolved into something engineered. Modern KFC chicken goes through a process known in the industry as enhancement. Before it ever reaches the restaurant, the meat is injected, soaked or tumbled in massive drums filled with what the company calls a flavor solution. That solution is not just seasoning, it's a precise blend of water, salt, monosodium glutamate, and sodium phosphates designed to change the chicken's texture, taste, and shelf life. By weight, up to 1/5 of every piece of KFC chicken isn't chicken at all. It's that enhancement mixture. A chemical cocktail made to make cheaper cuts of meat taste and feel like premium poultry. The sodium phosphates inside that mix don't just add moisture, they alter the protein structure of the meat itself, making even tougher, lower-grade pieces seem tender and juicy. It's an illusion of quality built through science, not cooking. Former employees have described how the chicken arrives at stores already treated, sometimes giving off a faint, artificial smell before it's breaded and fried. Once the batter goes on and the fryer takes over, that smell vanishes, leaving behind a golden, crispy piece that looks and tastes like the real deal. But what's hiding beneath that famous coating tells another story. The monosodium glutamate, or MSG, added to the mix, doesn't just enhance flavor, it interacts directly with the brain's pleasure centers, making you crave more even when you're full. It's not just seasoning, it's strategy. Every bite is scientifically calibrated to keep customers coming back, not because they're hungry, but because their brains demand the next bite. Then there's the issue of sodium. A typical KFC meal can contain close to 1,000 milligrams of sodium or more, much of it coming from the injected solution rather than the breading or sauce. For seniors or anyone managing heart disease, blood pressure, or kidney concerns, that's a serious health risk, hidden beneath a slogan about Southern comfort. And while those phosphates make the chicken look tender and juicy, they have a darker side. Scientific studies have linked high phosphate intake to problems with calcium absorption and kidney strain, especially in older adults. In other words, the very chemicals that make the chicken look more appetizing could also be quietly wearing down your health. Even the famous crispy texture isn't entirely natural. The modified starch used in the enhancement solution helps the coating stick and bubble just right, giving that satisfying crunch people associate with KFC. But that same starch means every bite carries more processed carbohydrates than most customers realize, hidden behind the illusion of protein-rich comfort food. By the time a piece of KFC chicken lands on your tray, it has gone through industrial-level processing, chemical treatment, and heat lamp holding. It looks like food, smells like food, and even tastes nostalgic. But nutritionally and biologically, it's something very different. KFC built its empire on the Colonel's charm and the myth of simple Southern cooking. Yet today, the secret recipe isn't just in the spice blend. It's in the lab where science, marketing, and profit have quietly rewritten what fried chicken really means. Number 4. Chick-fil-A. Few brands in America command the loyalty of Chick-fil-A. From the spotless dining rooms to the friendly My Pleasure at the counter, everything feels a step above typical fast food. To many families, it's the one chain they still trust, wholesome, polite, and consistent. But that feeling of quality isn't an accident. It's a product, one carefully engineered down to the molecular level. Behind the smiling service and spotless kitchens lies a process designed not just to create good food, but to manufacture craving. Chick-fil-A's signature chicken doesn't just marinate in spices, it's bathed in a solution of monosodium glutamate, sodium phosphates, and so-called natural flavor compounds, the same ingredients used in snack foods specifically designed to trigger the brain's pleasure responses. Former employees and supply chain workers have described the process as more science experiment than recipe. The meat arrives pre-treated in sealed bags, already infused with these solutions. Once cooked, the result is the same every time, tender, juicy, and impossibly flavorful. That consistency is no accident. It's the outcome of food engineering. According to nutritional disclosures and ingredient data, the chain's chicken, even the grilled versions, contains binding agents and texturizers that help the meat retain moisture during long holding times. That means the juicy chicken breast that seems freshly made may have been prepared hours earlier, waiting under warming conditions that the average customer never notices. But the real secret lies in how Chick-fil-A uses food science to build emotional attachment. Every bite is balanced for maximum sensory impact. Just enough salt to hit the taste buds, just enough MSG to boost umami flavor, and just enough sugar and spice to keep you reaching for another. It's not coincidence. It's neuromarketing in food form. Experts in flavor chemistry understand exactly how glutamates, sodium, and textural contrasts stimulate dopamine, the neurotransmitter associated with reward and satisfaction. That's what keeps loyal customers driving through the same line again and again, sometimes without realizing why. It feels like a craving for comfort, but biologically it's a response to chemical design. Even the chain's grilled chicken, marketed as the healthier alternative, carries its own secrets. Those charred marks and smoky flavors don't come from an open flame. They come from artificial smoke flavoring and preservatives designed to mimic the taste of outdoor grilling. The chicken itself often arrives pre-cooked, requiring only reheating before serving. The illusion of grilled fresh to order is maintained with clever timing, not open flames. And while Chick-fil-A promotes its ingredients as simple and real, the truth is more complicated. The marination process combined with mechanical tenderization gives the meat an unusually soft, uniform texture, far removed from the natural grain of true chicken breast. That silky tenderness customers rave about isn't from high-quality cuts. It's from binders and breakdown agents that literally change the muscle structure of the meat. What's being sold as premium is in reality process precision, a blend of science, psychology, and presentation built to make you believe it's superior. It's an empire powered by engineered trust. Because when every bite, every texture, and every scent has been fine-tuned to feel comforting and clean, few people ever think to question what's actually behind it. Chick-fil-A didn't just master chicken, it mastered the human response to pleasure. And that may be the most powerful form of fast food control there is. Number 5. McDonald's. When people think of fast food, they think of McDonald's. The golden arches, the happy meals, the nostalgia. For millions of Americans, it's not just a restaurant, it's a ritual. A taste of childhood, of convenience, of comfort. But the McDonald's chicken you bite into today isn't the same chicken you remember from decades ago. Because behind the smiling clown and cheerful jingles lies one of the most advanced food manufacturing systems in the world, one that has quietly turned a farm animal into a formula. The journey begins not in a kitchen, but in a factory. McDonald's chicken nuggets, one of the chain's most famous menu items, aren't cut from whole fillets. They're constructed. Inside enormous processing facilities, bits of chicken trimmings, connective tissue, and white meat scraps are ground together into a pink paste-like slurry. That mixture is then blended with modified food starch, sodium phosphates, yeast extract, and flavor enhancers, before being shaped into those familiar nugget forms. Once molded, they're pre-fried, frozen, and shipped to restaurants worldwide. Perfectly uniform, perfectly consistent, and perfectly unnatural. Every nugget you've ever eaten looks and tastes exactly the same for a reason. It was designed that way. That spongy, cushiony texture inside each bite isn't muscle. It's the product of emulsification, a process that blends fat, meat, and starch until no natural grain remains. It's chicken reimagined as an industrial product, engineered to be cheap, addictive, and shelf-stable. McDonald's doesn't just rely on seasoning to make it taste good, it relies on flavor science. The savory taste of a nugget isn't entirely from meat. It comes from artificial flavor compounds that mimic real chicken while hiding the chemical base beneath. Those flavorings are so carefully calibrated that they can mask bitterness, stabilize the aftertaste, and trigger a sense of satisfaction even when the meat content is minimal. But it doesn't stop with nuggets. The McCrispy sandwich, marketed as a premium item, follows a similar blueprint. The chicken is heavily enhanced with water retention agents, phosphates, and binding compounds, ingredients that make it appear juicy and fresh even after hours under a heat lamp. A single McCrispy sandwich can contain nearly 900 milligrams of sodium, much of it from chemical solutions injected into the meat before it ever hits the fryer. To the customer, it's crispy, golden, and satisfying. To food engineers, it's a triumph of processing. A perfect balance of salt, fat, and artificial savoriness, tuned to trigger pleasure centers in the human brain. What McDonald's has created isn't simply food, it's a system. A network of global suppliers, flavor chemists, and industrial machines all working together to make chicken products that never spoil, never vary, and never fail to hit the same emotional note. The goal isn't freshness, it's familiarity. And it works. Because familiarity breeds trust. When you taste that same nugget you remember from childhood, it feels safe, comforting. You don't think about the machinery, the flavor labs, or the binders that hold it all together. You just remember the golden arches, the drive-through window, and the taste that hasn't changed in years. But that's the brilliance and the danger of industrial food. The more consistent it becomes, the less human it feels. The McDonald's chicken of today isn't cooked by chefs, it's engineered by scientists. And while it may still taste like the past, what you're really eating is the future. The future of fast food, where the line between food and formula quietly disappears. Number 6. Jack in the Box. Long after most restaurants close, Jack in the Box is still open. Its neon lights glowing like a beacon for late-night hunger. For many Americans, it's the comfort of a hot meal at 2 in the morning when nothing else is open. But what happens behind those kitchen doors at midnight isn't the kind of cooking most people imagine. Jack in the Box built its business on convenience, consistency, and round-the-clock service. To achieve that, the company doesn't rely on traditional food preparation. It relies on engineering. Every chicken nugget, sandwich, and strip is designed to survive hours under heat lamps without losing its texture or taste. And to do that, the food itself has to be changed. Their chicken begins life in the same industrial facilities used by other major chains. It's not trimmed by hand or seasoned in-house, it's manufactured. The meat is mechanically separated, meaning bones, cartilage, and scraps are ground into a uniform paste. That paste is then blended with textured soy protein, water, sodium phosphates, and modified food starch, creating a pliable base that can be molded into consistent shapes. In other words, it's not just chicken, it's a reconstruction, a kind of edible architecture, held together by chemistry, rather than cooking. Workers who've handled the product describe the process as robotic. The chicken arrives frozen, pre-seasoned, and pre-formed, requiring little more than time in a fryer or oven before serving. Each piece looks perfect, but the flavor doesn't come from the meat. It comes from artificial flavor enhancers built into the mixture to mimic real chicken taste. That design comes at a cost. To hold up under long hours of heat, Jack in the Box's chicken contains higher levels of preservatives and stabilizers than most daytime fast food. These compounds prevent spoilage, extend shelf life, and keep the meat from drying out. But they also mean that what's being served at midnight has already been sitting for hours, sustained by chemistry instead of freshness. One former employee described it simply, "We didn't cook chicken, we reheated it." This hold and serve model makes perfect sense for efficiency and profit. But for customers, especially those grabbing a late-night meal after work or travel, it means something different. It means that the chicken they think is freshly made may have been prepared 8 to 10 hours earlier. Its flavor preserved not by care but by compounds most people can't even pronounce. And for older adults or anyone sensitive to sodium and preservatives, that's more than a minor detail, it's a hidden risk. Those same stabilizers that keep food tasting fresh under a heat lamp are also linked to elevated sodium levels and increased strain on the kidneys. Jack in the Box sells indulgence, the idea of comfort food whenever you want it. But the truth is that its chicken was never made for freshness. It was made for survival under light heat and time. So the next time you drive through at 2 in the morning and see that glowing sign promising hot, crispy chicken, remember, it might be hot, it might be crispy, but fresh. That depends on your definition of the word. Number 7. Burger King. If McDonald's represents fast food science lab, Burger King is its illusionist, mastering the art of disguise. The company's flame-grilled image sells the idea of authenticity. But when it comes to chicken, that fire isn't hiding the truth, it's hiding the formula. The chain's crispy chicken sandwich, marketed as premium and hand-breaded, isn't made from whole breast fillets at all. Instead, it's what the industry calls formed chicken bits of meat, fat, and tissue ground together, pressed into shape and held in place by chemical binders. Those binders, sodium phosphates, modified starch, and carrageenan, give the meat a tender, juicy feel that doesn't exist naturally. Carrageenan, derived from seaweed, sounds harmless, but it's been linked to digestive inflammation and immune reactions. Yet, it's a fast food favorite because it helps create that premium bite customers expect. Underneath the crispy coating, there's another problem: sodium. A single Burger King chicken sandwich can pack over 1,200 milligrams of sodium, much of it from enhancement solutions and preservatives, not seasoning. For anyone managing blood pressure or heart conditions, that's a silent danger disguised as a quick lunch. Even the nuggets follow the same formula. Made from ground meat blended with textured vegetable protein, up to 1/4 of each piece may be something other than chicken. It tastes real because of flavor chemistry, artificial compounds designed to mimic roasted chicken, even when the actual meat content is low. Burger King's slogan used to say, "Have it your way," but when the product is built from blended scraps and chemical binders, there's really only one way you can have it: the processed way. Number 8. Checkers and Rallies. If there's one fast food chain that pushes the limits of what can legally be called chicken, it's Checkers and Rallies. Their commercials scream flavor and value: bold spices, low prices, big portions. But what they're really serving might be closer to a science project than a meal. Laboratory analysis of their famous chicken bites revealed something alarming. Less than 60% of the product is actual poultry. The rest is a carefully designed mix of textured soy protein, water, and chemical binders, a composition that stretches meat farther while keeping costs low. That soy isn't the kind used in health food stores. It's textured vegetable protein, processed to mimic the feel of meat while absorbing oil and artificial flavoring. The result is a bite that feels satisfying, but delivers very little true nutrition. Even the chicken portion itself is reconstructed, mechanically separated and emulsified. It's combined with chemical emulsifiers and artificial flavor enhancers, many of which are designed to imitate the taste of fried chicken skin. Some of these compounds break down into MSG-like substances that make the food almost addictive. Former workers have described how the chicken arrives in large frozen blocks, giving off a chemical odor that disappears only after deep frying. Once it's battered, fried, and seasoned, the illusion is complete, golden crunchy, and far from natural. A small serving of these chicken bites can contain over 800 milligrams of sodium, most of it from those same binding and preservation agents. For budget-conscious customers, it feels like a good deal. But the truth is, they're paying for less meat and more chemistry. Checkers and Rallies built their empire on bold flavor and low cost, but behind every crunchy bite lies the cheapest secret in fast food. When meat is too expensive, science fills in the rest. When you look at all 8 chains side by side, Popeyes, Subway, KFC, Chick-fil-A, McDonald's, Jack in the Box, Burger King, and Checkers and Rallies, a pattern emerges. Different brands, different slogans, but behind the packaging, the same story. Across the fast food industry, chicken has become less about farming and more about formulation. Every bite has been reimagined, rebuilt, and chemically balanced to hit the perfect combination of flavor, texture, and shelf life at the lowest possible cost. Water, starch, soy, and phosphates are no longer additives. They're ingredients, core components of a new kind of food that looks real but behaves like a product. And what's most striking? It's all legal. Food regulations allow these chains to label their products as chicken, even when 20 to 30% of the content is something else entirely. As long as a certain threshold of real meat remains, the rest can be filler, binder, or chemical stabilizer, with no clear warning on the menu. That's how fast food evolved from cooking to manufacturing. The local kitchen became a lab, the chef became a technician, and the goal shifted from feeding people to programming their taste buds. This system doesn't rely on quality ingredients, it relies on psychology. Every crunch, every scent, every perfectly timed salt hit is designed to trigger satisfaction, not because it's fresh, but because it's familiar. It's food that remembers what you liked before you even take a bite. In a way, that's the real success of the fast food chicken empire. They didn't just sell you a meal, they sold you a memory. And then they learned how to manufacture it, one chemical at a time. So now we know the truth. 8 of the biggest fast food chains in America, each promising quality, each claiming care, quietly built their success on a foundation of fillers, flavor science, and deception. What they call chicken has become something else entirely, a carefully engineered product designed to feel real while being anything but. They didn't break the law, they rewrote it. They learned how to replace real ingredients with chemicals that fooled not just your tongue, but your trust. When you bite into a piece of fast food chicken today, you're not tasting the farm, you're tasting the factory. You're tasting the binding agents that hold scraps together, the phosphates that lock in moisture, and the MSG that tells your brain you're still hungry. You're tasting design, not food. And that's the quiet revolution happening across America's food landscape. Not through secret recipes or hidden labs, but through marketing, labeling, and legal fine print that lets corporations sell less for more, while calling it progress. But here's the thing. This story isn't about guilt. It's about awareness. Because when you understand how the system works, you take back control. You start seeing beyond the slogans, eat fresh, finger-licking good, my pleasure. You start realizing that real food shouldn't need enhancement solutions, textured soy protein, or artificial smoke to taste like what it claims to be. The next time you're at the drive-thru window and that familiar smell hits you, remember what we've uncovered here tonight. The comfort you're craving might not come from the chicken at all, but from a formula designed to make you believe it does. This is the corporate backdoor, and we'll keep shining a light on the industries that profit from your trust, one hidden ingredient at a time. If this investigation opened your eyes, share it with someone you care about, because everyone deserves to know what's really on their plate. And if you want to keep learning the truths behind the brands we use every day, subscribe, stay informed, and never stop asking the question the corporations hope you won't. What am I really eating?